Welcome back to Lou's Demos. Today we're going to be talking about DHCP servers and the steps. So essentially 4 steps for getting an IP address on a server. So when a workstation boots up, it's going to do a discovery, it's going to receive an offer, it's going to do the DHCP request, and then it's going to do an acknowledgement. And here I'm going to use Packet Tracer to show the examples here. So here's our 2 machines right now. If we click on it, you can see it's set for DHCP, no IP address schemes or anything like that. So we can set up an IP address server. We could set the switch, depending on the model of the switch, if it supports that feature, a router, we can do a server. So I'm going to do a typical example of a server. So I'm going to add this to our network. And then the first thing we need to do, we have to give it a static IP address. So I'm going to use 192.168.1.2.254 to represent my home. And then 255.255. Here I'm going to give it a static address. I'm going to use a class C private address 192.168.2.254 to represent my home network and its default mask. And from there I'm going to click on services. So there's a service for version 4 and 6. We're going to go with 4. It's very similar. Here it's going to grab our IP address that the machine is set up on, and then here I'm going to just start with 10, and I'm just going to make this 15 devices. Other things that we need to set up besides the IP address, the range, we have scope settings. So an example here, we have the default gateway. So I'm pretending this is a home router. So we're going to just type in 192.168.2.254, because typically your home router is your way out the door, and it is your DNS too. And then we're going to click on and hit save. And then as we go to each machine, there we go. We can see that it's got a DNS. Then if we go down to Ethernet settings, perfect, we got 10. Here, this one's 11. So we go to desktop and we do a ping. Alright, we can now ping across. Perfect. So one of the things I want to kind of show you an example of these things. So here's a list of all the different scope options. So like an example, we may want to set up a time server. So that would be option number 4. It will allow us to set up a dedicated time server, and all the machines would synchronize to that, so we keep all our clocks organized. So there's a ton of different settings you can go through. So here I'm going to pop into an example, my Synology router. Here we can see it's using its address, its mask, and it shows you where you start, where you end from your address. Here, this one does it in seconds, how many seconds you want to give the IP address away, your default gateway, your DNS, and depending on your router, you may have additional features like setting up a web proxy. You may or may not have that. Giving an option for the universal plug and play, enabling it through DHCP. Having a guest scope, so this one can handle 2 like an example, Microsoft Server 1 can handle a lot more than that. Here we have our list of devices. Here, just want to point out, like here you can see some of these don't expire. Here's how many of these got certain times. So there's another term called DHCP reservations. That means we're going to say this IP belongs to this MAC address. Every time they come up, even though the device is set for DHCP, it's always going to get the same address. It's never going to get a new one. So this is a way, if we want to kind of static but not hard code it, where we're physically touching the machine, we can kind of do it this way. A couple different reasons you may want to do this, but I want to show an example. Here's a Wireshark I did a moment ago on capturing my packets. So I did an IP release. So here's where my system saying, hey, I don't no longer need this address. Cool. Here is the discovery. We're saying, hey, I need an IP address. Here's the offer. And given this much information, here you can see, here's my domain name, my fully qualified domain name, and all these additional settings. And then here you can see, here's my acknowledgement, where I essentially acknowledge saying, great. So that's it. I'm not necessarily going to go deep in the rabbit hole of this, but I just wanted to kind of show you what the packet looked like. You know, when you look at as far as the OSI model, we got our frames, our Ethernet, our protocols. So this is just what the packet looks like. It's very simple. DHCP just provides us a service that we can receive IP addresses. Again, it's 4 steps. So a machine boots up, set for DHCP, it's going to do a broadcast saying, hey, I need an IP address. The DHCP server is going to respond to it and pass that information onto the PC. It's that simple. Alright, thanks for watching. Bye.